We've seen so many large electric vehicles. Now it's time for a small one with the all-new Volvo EX30. Let's go with all the details. Thor's hammer, LED signature, now in this segmented way, the main headlamp unit above it and below it, cloud blue. This is very light blue color, very interesting indeed. I think the Volvo logo kind of has a retro styling now, and all the way closed front, because you do not need the cooling here for the electric vehicle. The market for the small EVs, it's not that large yet, so they make a smaller one than the C40 or the ex30. This one here at 4 meters, 23 or 167 inches. Wheels from 18 to 20 inch, these are the biggest ones. Yeah, the Volvo lettering is here. But I think still a classic Volvo logo in the middle part is missing, and this is also a Volvo of hyperlatives or superlatives because it is the smallest Volvo SUV so far. It is the quickest Volvo SUV ever, and it is also the most sustainable one from new production using 25% less CO2 and also raw materials, and so on if you compare it to a C40 or XC40. Make no mistake, a used vehicle is always the most sustainable one because it's already built. But when you build new cars, it's of course very important also to bring down the use of resources and so on. Here, the design, contrasting black roof, and a very strong C-pillar overall. Some angular design we see. Rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Then with one electric motor at the axle each and the all-wheel drive version, then at 3.6 seconds in the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour. The top speed is 180 kilometers per hour or 112 miles per hour. Overall, kind of boxy design also in the rear. I like that angular styling. What about you? Tell me in the comments. Also here with the signature of the rear lights. However, the CD value is not the best one, 0.28, and that means it's rather a city SUV. High speeds on the motorway, it will consume a little bit more of course. Well, then you get two different battery sizes, either 49 kilowatt-hour net or 64 kilowatt-hour net. That's in the bigger one. I would also recommend to have, just a little bit more range buffer. Realistic figure for the bigger one, probably like some 400 kilometers or 250 miles. However, recharging, it's pretty cool. AC charge, 11 or even 22 kilowatts, and the DC charging, 155 kilowatts. That means 10% to 80% state of charge in 26 minutes. Ahsoka has the white lightsaber, right? That's why I'm taking this one today. I'll soon show you why. So, let's take a look at the possible frunk. Yes, there is one, a small one, and when you fold it up, you have space for a charging cable, and underneath, that's why the light or the lightsaber of Ahsoka, here there's a nice moose pictogram. Not sure if you notice, but there's one design detail here. If you look from a little distance, it seems that the hood would be like standing out here as overlapping, but if you come closer, you can see it is actually quite close to the chassis, so that's rather an illusion. And turning indicators here in the front, they replace the daytime running light. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? In the rear here, the indicators are pretty small, but still visible enough, I would say. This will be your new Volvo membership card. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This will be the car key like we know from Tesla, for example, or use your smartphone here with the NFC connection holding it right there. Then, door closing sound. Nice, that's really solid. Inside of the doors, you can see a very minimalistic design here also with the door handle from the inside. That looks quite cool, and you get different deco elements. This is also made from recycling material, soft touch at the top part, and here also for your elbow. And what I like is here that you got the hard plastic, but then you have a structure here. So it looks a little bit more premium, and the inside of the door can fit a lot of things, and you see there is no button lever whatsoever also to reduce the complexity, and if that is too much for the deco for you, there are different deco stylings available. For example, also a recycled denim deco element. Same also in the accounts here for the dashboard, and the air vents are already here at the side. It's also a very interesting design. Oh, and I like this ex30 badge right there on the inside. Seats also sustainable. For example, these Nordico seats, it's a high-grade leatherette with a mix of fabric, and once again here also recycling and also using plant-based oils. So that's the way to go. Same also counts for the steering wheel. Let's get inside. It's a small SUV, and you can adjust it then here in the lower part. So just one button basically here for back and forth of the back part, going back and forth with the lower part. It's actually a very easy and intuitive control and, well, it is small from the outside, but I have quite good comfort here as a tall person with 189 or 6 feet 2 inches when I go here to the side. Still leaves some headroom, and even more than to this fixed panoramic roof. So you can go over this one or for a completely closed fixed one. And the steering wheel has a manual adjustment right here, up, down, in, and out. Well, this is a prototype vehicle, but however, we can see these are not the instruments, and you can have it like this camera sensor in there, and that it watches you basically that you get, fatigue or something, and it warns you, but you can see when you adjust the steering wheel, it basically lifts up and down a little bit. Yeah, that's maybe the one weird thing I discovered here. And if you wonder why is it the case, well, it moves because it wants to track your eyes. We remember, for example, for Mercedes vehicles, often I set the steering wheel to a position like very low, and then I'm blocking these sensors. However, do I want to be tracked in the vehicle? Me, personally, not. What about you? Interior cockpit overview, once again, very clean here, 12.3-inch screen, vertical styling, then a very present deco element styling, and you can pick different stylings to the set. Here, somewhat soft touch dashboard and also very unique first ever sound bar in a vehicle, different speakers inside this one sound bar, but why are they doing that? First of all, either a bass one or this one, the Harman Kardon, optionally, and then you just have it at this very place, and there's no speaker at the inside of the doors, no wires, no cables, also better sustainability because less material is being used. Very interesting, isn't it? On the steering wheel, you have one button per side, but with different functions. I like to have separate buttons to push. Yeah, that's what I said, but at least you have some haptic feedback here. And for putting in the gears, it's behind the steering wheel here. You just put it up and down for drive and reverse and so on. Infotainment system is Android Automotive based, means a native support of Google Maps. Also, when you put in a destination, it calculates the charging stops and so on. No digital instruments means that here the speed will be displayed in the top part. Yeah, I haven't liked that with the Model Y or Model 3 by Tesla either. Temperature unit is right here, relatively easy to see everything but of course, everything into that screen, and this will then be the app overview. You will also be able to use Apple CarPlay wireless. When I make it a little bit darker here, join the dark side, then you can better see the small ambient lighting here on the right side. The glove box is actually here, and you open it in the infotainment system. There we go with a lot of space inside actually. Let's close it. In the lower part, an inductive charging pad. Very lower part, you have it either like this or you could open it for more space, and then you also have two USB-C chargers. Here, the window levers on the inside, and when you press this one, you can also control the rear window levers, and this is also funny here. The middle console slides open, and you have 2 cup holders, or 1 cup holder or 0 cup holders, and then once again, you have a little bit more open space or slide it back like this, half or all the way. Panoramic roof perspective from the rear, of course. The rear passengers can even better see that, and talking about the rear passengers, you have to remember it's a small SUV, but let's try it out nevertheless, and you can see when the seat is set to my driving position, I cannot fit behind it that well, so for tall adults is critical. You have the same design at the inside of the door, and these very cool door handles. I really like them indeed, and I can slide through because there's no middle tunnel using the EV platform, and when I'm, for example, here behind the co-driver's seat or passenger seat, then of course, you can adjust a little bit better. The bench is also quite low. You can see here the angle of my knees, so it's not meant for tall adults, for a long journey or so in the rear. Yeah, I think considering the length, it's actually okay. Nice. The fabric used here as well with the Nordico material. Nordico again is this high-grade leatherette, and you also have separate rear window levers, but they are also in the middle console. This lower part here is storage here. You can also take out from here. For example, use it as a trash or, that you can easily empty it, and once again, we have these pictograms of the moose, The kids also have some fun with it. So now, not only holding the white lightsaber, but also the dark saber because it's time to measure the trunk. Here, there's the button to open it, electric hatch, and we can first take our measurements. Here, the length here, is about 72 centimeters to this notch. It's about 28 inches. You can see it's of course not the biggest one, but it's a city SUV. It's supposed to be small, and underneath, you have even more space.